What is up, everybody? I want to do a video today and talk about where I am with the artist series. I have not posted a video in about a week, mainly because I've gotten to a point on these where they are starting to demand a lot of my time and attention as I finish editing them. And I'm getting really close, and I can't wait to present the remaining 5 of these over the next couple of weeks, and I'll get back to that in a second. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you're new to the show, the artist series is a project that I started last year, and basically it is a series of little mini documentaries on living photographers. And I have 3 of these already released, and I will link them up in the show description. I highly recommend you go check them out. I'm very proud of them, but I'm really excited about the remaining 5 that I've got. And you get to a point, when you go film these, it's really exciting to go do that. And then you come back and you've got all this footage, and it's kind of this big mess that you've got to start organizing. And it's a lot of work. And then you get to a point where I am now, where you've got music on things, and you've got images in there, and everything is color graded, and they're starting to look like films. And it's really exciting. And so I can't wait to share these with you. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm about halfway through, like I said, a little more than halfway through. And we are still going to do, or I'm still going to put together the video on your photos for photo assignment number 7, which is motion. I'm going to do that this weekend. So you've got today and tomorrow, if you want to be considered for that, to submit your images. So get them up on social media so I can see them. And I'll tell you what, I have one of these open right now. So come over here and I'll give you a little behind the scenes. So I'll show you what I'm working on here, and essentially there are 5 of these that I am finishing up right now, and I'm not really sure what order they're going to come in yet, but essentially it's going to be Keith Carter, David Brookover, Graciela Iturbide, Lourdes Grobet, and finally Pedro Meyer, and that order could change over the next few weeks as I kind of get my head into that space. But essentially I'll show you what I'm working on, and right now what we're seeing here, this is my final edit of Keith Carter's video, and you can see that I've got music and dialogue and images and B-roll and all this stuff. And that's kind of what it looks like when I get near completion. But when I start, let me open up this one, which is the full interview. Essentially, you can see that my footage is not graded. It's flat because I film with a log profile. And the first thing that I do with these, you can also see that this interview is about 1 hour and 20 minutes long. And typically when I prepare for these and go film them, I come up with a series of questions sort of as a framework on how to guide that interview, but anything can change along the way. And in fact, I really like it when it does, because I want this to be the artist's story and not my interpretation of them. So I try to just get a conversation and a dialogue going with that. But the result of that is then you have a lot of footage. These interviews are really long. And so when I go through to edit these, the first thing I do is lay everything out. And I'll spend a couple days on this, actually, a lot of hours going through and making notes and trying to start thinking in terms of form of how I can tell a story with these. And I have a form that I start with, and typically, and you can see this in the ones that are up, I try to start with something that's somewhat of a provocative statement to kind of capture your attention, and then I'll look for an ending, which is something that's usually a little more uplifting, a little more conclusive, and also provocative in a way, and then it's a matter of filling in that middle and telling that story. Then during that process, the beginning and the end could change, and they often do, but at least that gives me a starting point for putting things together. Then once I have basically that longer interview down towards something in the 10-minute zone, some of these new ones are going to be a little bit longer because I just can't get them shorter without having holes in the story, and I think they're probably adequate. So, but once I've done that, then I go through, I do a first pass on the audio, add a little bit of compression, add a little bit of EQ, and then I'll start bringing in the music and some B-roll, and that starts adjusting the timing that you're going to go through on stuff, and then your audio will probably change a little bit more once you have the music picked, and once that starts going in. And then after that I do color grading, and then I'll start putting in images. And at that point I usually send a first pass. I'll post that online for the artist to look at, because it is a collaborative process, and they usually will provide some small changes, let me know their feedback, and then I will come back and adjust as necessary, and then you end up with your final edit. And I work with basically in Final Cut, I film 2 angles, and they're filmed at 4K. And so what you're seeing here, if you go into Final Cut, I will combine them in what is referred to as a multicam clip. And what this does is it puts both clips synced together with the audio. And so on the keyboard, I can just hit number 2 if I want to go to camera 2, or I can go back to camera 1. And that gives me some flexibility, so it's not just one angle all the time. And then there are other times where you have an edit that you might need a camera angle to flip on, because it just does not seem natural to see their head pop across the screen mid-sentence. So anyway, so there's a lot of that stuff that goes into it too. And then I do my color grading. I round trip into DaVinci Resolve for that, and then I come back into Final Cut. And, you know, then I'll kind of sit on these for a day or two until I get to a spot where I feel like I'm comfortable with it. And sometimes I have to take a break from it and come back just to double check everything, because when you see these over and over again, they're kind of intense to do that way. But anyway, that's more or less the process that I use to edit these. And as I said, I'm going to be releasing the 5 in the coming weeks, and I'm not comfortable giving you a date just yet. I'm a little more than halfway through this. One of them is in Spanish, and that one is actually kind of difficult to work with because my Espanol está no bueno, not too good, and so I'm working with a translation and some other things. So that one's a little more time consuming, but we're not talking months, we're talking weeks at this point, and I'm really getting excited about these, and I can't wait to share these with you. And anyway, so that's about all I've got for today. If you guys have any questions on these or anything, please leave a comment. If there's anything else you want to see on these as I'm putting them together, the behind-the-scenes stuff, let me know. And just a quick reminder that I am going to be putting together a video for you guys this weekend for photo assignment number 7, which is motion. So make sure you put your images on social if you want me to see them for that. And I would do that today or tomorrow. And by Saturday, I'll be working on that. So anyway, that's about all I got for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like it, share it, and as always, subscribe to The Art of Photography. Turn on those notifications, because when the Artist Series comes out, and I'll make an announcement and all, these are good, and I'm super excited. So till the next video, go watch the other Artist Series videos. I will link them up here. I will see you guys then. Until then, later.